Exposed, the incredible truth behind how Disney Channel hiddenly betrayed 11 million Gen Z fans. Maya's heart raced as she scrolled through her feed. Headlines blared across her screen, each word wrapping around her like a tightening noose. She felt the weight of nostalgia and anger surge through her as she thought about those carefree Disney afternoons, laughing alongside her favorite characters. Now, everything felt different, tainted. The sparkly, imaginative stories that had once filled her heart with hope seemed dull and commercial, morphing into mindless entertainment. "Guys, can you believe this?" she exclaimed, slumping her shoulders. Around her, her friends clustered at their beloved coffee spot, Kettle and Brew, where the rich aroma of coffee mingled with laughter. Maya cradled a warm caramel macchiato, the sweetness contrasting with her spiraling thoughts. Disney is just, I don't know, not what it used to be. It's all about profits now, not storytelling. Her friends nodded, brows furrowing in agreement. Jenny leaned in, whispering, "Remember how the Lizzie McGuire movie made us feel? Like, we were all her, navigating the awkwardness of being a teen." Maya's chest tightened. Memories flooded back, the dance sequences, heart-wrenching romances, and empowering dreams embodied in personified characters who taught them to aspire for more. But what about today? Before Maya could answer, an idea struck her. What if we do something? Start a movement or a campaign to call out this hypocrisy? I mean, we're not just watching shows. We're living, and we deserve better. Their eyes lit up, enthusiasm electrifying the air. They began brainstorming, erupting with ideas, each one sparking a fire deep in Maya's gut. It became a rallying cry. Maya, Jenny, and Andre were ready to shake things up and demand authenticity from a world that had grown stale. But as their excitement flared, doubts crept in. Would it even work? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Weeks passed, and the response surprised everyone. They took to social media, posting videos and sharing heartfelt letters that resonated with countless others. A badge of honor, almost a call to arms, each video spread like wildfire. But that spotlight immediately brought unwanted pressure. Suddenly, Maya's phone buzzed constantly, notifications pouring in, and so did the overwhelming weight of expectations, driving a wedge between her and her family. "Maya, focus on school. This isn't going to pay the bills," her parents insisted at dinner, their voices strict, echoing over the clatter of forks and knives. Frustration bubbled in her chest. Their vision clashed violently with hers, each argument tearing at the fabric of love she had for them. She longed for them to understand the urgency of reclaiming hope through authenticity. As they delved back into heated debates, the moment took an unexpected turn. A message popped up on her phone, brightening her spirits. A viral influencer called her a loyal soldier of hope. She held her breath, torn between pride and fear. How far could this movement go? And just like that, with voices clashing louder than ever and hope dancing on a razor's edge, Maya faced her parents. Their ultimatum loomed over her like an impending storm. Would she let her fight for change drown under traditional expectations or rise to claim her place as a leader in a new wave of storytelling? Maya's stomach knotted as she braced herself for the inevitable fallout from her parents. The dinner table felt like a battlefield, and she was poised for war. As forks clinked and tension simmered, her father's voice broke through the haze. "Maya, it's just a phase. You're talented, but you need a backup plan. College is expensive, don't throw it all away chasing a trend." Every word pierced her like an arrow. Did he even hear her? Did they understand how their disapproval felt like shackles? She glanced at her mother, whose eyes danced with worry, searching for peace between the dream and the safety net. The thought of letting them down suffocated her. I'm not just chasing a trend. This is about real change. Her voice trembled with urgency, emotions threatening to spill. Disney has a responsibility to us. We're not kids anymore. We matter. Her friends, Jenny and Andre, had rallied behind her, but at that moment, she felt profoundly alone. The laughter of Kettle and Brew faded into distant echoes, replaced by the seriousness of their stare. A silence enveloped the table, heavy and charged. She could feel their gazes weighing her words, measuring her conviction. Maya, honey, we know you care, her mother finally spoke, her tone softening. We just worry that you'll lose sight of what's important, your future. I want to shape my future, she replied, frustration boiling over. Not just follow the old path set out for me. Things have to change, and I want to be part of that change. She felt heat travel through her entire being, the conviction sparking underneath her skin. Before another argument could form, her phone erupted into a flurry of notifications again. She glanced at it, seeking solace in the outside world. Comments rolled in, likes flooded her posts. Her heartbeat quickened as she read the supportive words from strangers. They believed in her. That feeling, that community, lit a fire in her heart. Look, Maya said, shaking the phone in the air. People are rallying behind this. It's bigger than just me. It's our voices coming together. A mix of pride and disbelief crossed her parents' faces. For just a moment, hope flickered between them, but the storm clouds of concern still shadowed her mother's eyes. Maya, her father replied, this time his voice low and measured. You know this isn't easy. What if things go wrong? What if this doesn't lead where you think it will? What if it does? What if we really make a difference? Her eyes sparkled with newfound resilience. What if we get Disney to listen? The conversation shifted. They debated whether the dream was worth the risk and if change could even happen. Maya fought fiercely against their fears, inching closer to a breakthrough. But then, just as her parents began to soften, an unexpected notification lit up her screen, a direct message from an influential filmmaker in the industry. What's this? Maya murmured, her voice lowering as the words caught her breath. Her friends cautiously leaned in, curiosity replacing the tension. Hey, I saw your movement, let's talk, the message read, accompanied by a request for a video call. Maya's heart raced. This could be the moment she needed. Her thoughts whirled with anticipation and anxiety, all those late nights dreaming of change bubbling to the surface. Could this be the opening to reach a larger audience, to kickstart discussions at a professional level? The moment of truth stared back at her. Would she seize it or allow doubt to hush her dreams? As her friends exchanged excited glances, something deeper stirred inside her. This was it, the threshold of her fight. But also the precipice of something risky. What if I say yes but I'm not ready? What if they ask for too much? She faced her parents, searching their slowly softening expressions. In that high-stakes moment, Maya felt a pulse of possibility course through her. Would she dare to take the leap? What awaited her on the other side of that screen? Maya swallowed hard, her mouth dry as she stared at the message. The anticipation crackled in the air. It felt impossible, almost like a dream. An influential filmmaker wanted to talk to her. Hopes and fears tangled together in her mind, dancing like fireflies in twilight. This was her moment, the leap she'd been waiting for, yet every ounce of uncertainty threatened to hold her back. Should I respond? She asked her friends, her voice barely above a whisper. Jenny's eyes were wide, her excitement bubbling over. Of course. This could be huge. She urged, bouncing slightly in her chair. Andre leaned in, nodding emphatically. Yeah, it's an opportunity. Don't overthink it, Maya. Reply. But the weight of her parents' doubts weighed heavily on her. She wanted to ask them for advice, but their faces seemed painted with skepticism. Maya saw the conflict in their eyes, part hope, part fear. They wanted to protect her, but how could they understand what it felt like to chase a dream in a world that often felt indifferent? "I have to think about what this means, for all of us," she murmured, more to herself than to anyone else. But even as she said it, the conviction in her voice faltered. Her mother reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers warm and grounding. "You know we love you, right? No matter where this leads. Just promise you'll be careful. It's a big step." Looking into her mother's eyes, she felt a glimmer of understanding. They were as scared for her as they were for themselves. And yet, they didn't fully grasp the magnitude of her passion, the voices that had rallied behind her. Maya inhaled deeply. With a determined shake of her head, she pulled her hand away and grabbed her phone. "I can't let fear dictate my future. What if this is that missing piece?" She typed quickly, heart racing at the thought of what might come next. "Yes. I would love to chat." Almost immediately, she hit send, her finger hovering for a moment like a diver ready to plunge into an unknown sea. The table went quiet, her friends exchanging looks of mixed excitement and caution. Just then, her phone vibrated again, a response already waiting. "Great. How about this Friday at 3 p.m? Looking forward to it." Shock washed over her. Friday? That was just 2 days away. She could feel adrenaline surging through her veins, but a wave of apprehension followed close behind. What if she wasn't ready? What if the conversation spiraled out of control? What if she didn't articulate her vision clearly? "Okay, hit me. What's the plan?" Andre urged, pulling her back into the moment. Maya took a breath. "We need to gather our thoughts. Prepare a pitch of sorts. I want to show them what this movement is all about and why it matters." The three huddled together, energy bursting in a mixture of ideas and enthusiasm. They scribbled notes, voices rising and falling around the table, building a vision that felt electric. Each suggestion seemed to light a spark in Maya's heart, igniting belief that this could actually shift something bigger in the world. As her friends brainstormed, Maya's mind spun with dreams of the future. She envisioned herself standing up and saying, "We matter." On a platform, surrounded by a supportive community. But somewhere, deep inside, doubt settled in again. Still clutching her phone, she glanced at her parents. Their faces were a blend of worry and reluctant pride, like they knew she was on the brink of something great, yet couldn't fully embrace it. "Are you sure you want to do this?" her father asked again, his protective instincts surfacing. Maya squared her shoulders, closing her eyes for a moment. "I have to, Dad. If not for me, then for everyone who feels unheard." She opened her eyes, determination burning bright within. But as she looked around the table, the weight of expectation felt heavier than ever. She could feel the universe teetering on the edge of a decision. Would her hopes and dreams be set free, or would they crash spectacularly? Just wait, there's so much at stake, she thought, caught between exhilaration and fear. What awaited her? Once she stepped into that call? When the day finally came, would she be ready? Or would doubt rush in and drown out the voice she had fought so hard to find? Only time would tell. The buzzing sound of her alarm clock jolted Maya awake. She blinked at the ceiling, her heart racing as the reality of the day washed over her like a splash of cold water. Today was the day. Today she would speak to the filmmaker who could change everything. She swung her legs over the side of the bed, her feet landing on the cool floor. For a moment, she just sat there, breathing in and out slowly, the nervous energy swirling in her stomach like a tornado. Today was just a call, it was a chance to share her vision, a chance to make her voice heard. After a quick shower, Maya dressed mindfully, picking out her favorite blue sweater that made her feel confident. It was funny how something so simple could give her a sense of power. She wanted to shine, to present her best self, even on a video call. She caught her reflection in the mirror, the soft light catching in her eyes, and for a fleeting moment, she felt ready. "Let us do this," she said to herself, her voice resolute. She made her way to the kitchen, where her parents were already sipping coffee, engaged in hushed conversation. They looked up, a mix of encouragement and concern reflected in their faces. "Good morning, sweetheart," her mom said, trying to conceal her worry with a smile. Maya forced a smile back and joined them, pouring a cup of coffee. "Did you sleep at all?" her father asked, frowning slightly. "Not much," she admitted. "Just excited to see where this goes." The truth was, excitement and fear were both consuming her. As she picked at her breakfast, she couldn't help but think about all the what-ifs. What if she stumbled over her words? What if he wasn't impressed? Her hands gripped the warm mug tighter, grounding her amidst the rising tide of anxiety. Minutes passed, and the tension built. Preparing for the call had consumed her thoughts for days, but now, with less than an hour left, she was spiraling. Her phone buzzed again with a reminder, "Call at 3 p.m. Be ready." The clock ticked louder than usual, each second echoing in the back of her mind. Finally, it was almost time. She took a deep breath and set her phone down on the table. Over the last 2 days, she and her friends had crafted a pitch brimming with passion. They believed in the movement. They wanted to create one where everyone felt valued and visible. "It's showtime," she mumbled under her breath, her friends' faces appearing in her thoughts, their confidence imbued in her spirit. She wanted to be that voice for them. Maya took one last look in the mirror, adjusting her hair nervously. Then she moved to her laptop, opening it wide as the timer edged closer to her fate. The video chat link blinked at her, as if beckoning her forward. The moment finally came. She clicked the link just as the clock struck 3. The screen flickered, and suddenly there he was, a man in a crisp white shirt with an eager smile on his face. He looked as if he had already spent hours in meetings, yet there he was, fully present, ready to connect. "Hi, Maya. It's great to finally meet you," he said, his enthusiasm palpable. "Hi. Thank you for having me," she replied, her voice steadier than she expected. As they exchanged pleasantries, Maya could feel her heart racing again. She began to speak, her planned words spilling out with newfound clarity. "I'm really looking forward to sharing our vision for a movement focused on community empowerment." And just as she began to dig deeper into her ideas, a nagging doubt whispered in the back of her head, pulling her focus. Was she truly being seen? Suddenly, the filmmaker interrupted her, his expression shifting into something serious. "Maya, before we continue, can I be honest with you?" The air grew heavy, a shade of uncertainty creeping in. What could that possibly mean? Maya's heart thudded in her chest. Was this the moment her dreams could either take flight or shatter? With bated breath, she waited for his words. What would come next? Would it be a twist of fate or something more chilling? Maya swallowed hard, her mouth suddenly dry. She wrapped her fingers tighter around the edge of her desk, steeling herself. The filmmaker's eyes searched hers, weighing his words before finally spilling them out. "Honestly," he began, "I've seen countless pitches like yours. You're not alone in your ambition. The industry is flooded with voices like yours, passionate about community and empowerment." But he paused, his expression turning more sympathetic. "You need a hook, something that sets you apart." A pit opened in Maya's stomach. "But let me finish," he interjected gently, sensing her slide into panic. "I believe in your message, but it needs to pack a punch. What makes your story unique? What's your personal connection?" Maya's heart sank further. She had imagined this moment, but not like this, a challenge instead of encouragement. I thought focusing on community dynamics would resonate. So many people feel isolated right now." "I agree. But think about it. Every story needs a personal note, something that draws us in. What's your connection to this?" He leaned closer, curiosity sparking in his eyes. The weight of his words settled over her like a heavy blanket. Maya rushed through her thoughts, piecing together different fragments of her life, the events that led her here. My friends and I have always felt invisible in this city, not hearing our voices in the larger conversations. We want to be seen, to break those barriers. Her own voice began to tremble, catching in her throat as memories flowed. Why? He asked, genuine interest lighting up his face. Because growing up, I often felt like a shadow, like no one noticed the pain that so many of us shared. Even doing something as simple as trying to produce a short film about youth struggles felt like screaming into the void. She paused, biting her lip to hold back tears. The filmmaker nodded thoughtfully, and for a moment, the tension that gripped the call began to ease. That is powerful, he said, but I need you to dive deeper. What hurt you, specifically? What was the moment that made you want to fight for these stories? Maya was stunned, the emotional depth of his question forcing her to confront feelings she'd kept buried. She felt exposed, vulnerable, yet strangely liberated. There was a time in high school when my best friend felt excluded from our group. I was paralyzed by my own fears of being left out to stand up for her. It haunted me. Now that essay story, he said, encouraging her. That kind of personal truth can reconnect people. It's not just about what happened to you, but how it intersects with others. Tell your truth. Maya's mind spun, her heart racing in a new rhythm. Sharing openly could lead to vulnerability, but perhaps what made her afraid was also what would inspire others. She took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. Okay, she whispered, I will. He smiled, the spark of collaboration igniting between them. Great. I want to hear it. How can we take that personal connection and expand on it? Let us make your vision not just about community empowerment but about the individuals, their struggles, their victories. Maya nodded, feeling the shift. It wasn't just about her anymore, it was about every voice waiting to be acknowledged. As they dove deeper into brainstorming, she could feel the pulse of possibility. The call had transformed from uncertainty into a partnership with warmth and enthusiasm connecting them, yet, even as excitement surged, a heavy thought lingered. What if being open pushed her past what felt comfortable? Would she lose herself in the process of opening up? Maya's thoughts were still racing when the filmmaker leaned back in his chair, a relaxed smile gracing his lips. This is just the beginning. If we can harness your story to create something fresh, it could resonate with those millions. The clock ticked on, but Maya was already thinking beyond just her pitch. Okay, I'm in. Let us do this, she said, a spark of determination igniting her spirit, but with every step away from fear and embarrassment, how would she balance vulnerability with control over her story? As the conversation continued, her mind buzzed with potential. But Maya couldn't shake that doubt. Was her voice enough? And so, the journey truly began. Where would it lead? Would she find the courage to expose her truth, or would the weight of her past crush her opportunity? Maya felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with anxiety as the call continued. For the first time, she was being pushed to discover not just her story, but deep, transformative moments. Each question from the filmmaker was like a small nudge into the unknown, prompting her to enter the dark corners of her memories. Let us break it down, he suggested, leaning forward. What were other instances where you felt that same pressure to conform, even at the cost of someone else's happiness? She sat quietly, contemplating. Then it hit her, the night of the junior class party. Her friend Sofia, bright and lively, had lost her spark that evening. Maya had watched as the popular kids snickered and whispered, shutting Sofia out with glances and exaggerated gestures. Maya could have intervened, spoken up. But she hadn't. Anxiety had rooted her to the spot, and the shame still felt sharp. I remember standing there, wanting to shout, wanting to take Sofia's hand and make her feel brave, she said, her breath quickening. But instead, I melted into the shadows. That could be a pivotal scene, he urged. Visualize it. The music was pumping, people were laughing, and you felt utterly paralyzed. Yes. It was like everyone was a blur but Sofia. I locked eyes with her, and I knew she was breaking inside, but I didn't want to stand out. I wanted to fit in. Tears stung Maya's eyes as she unclenched her fists, feeling the weight of her memories spill out. Each detail she recalled heightened her vulnerability, but it also lit a small fire within her. Maybe, just maybe, this could be a part of her truth. Exactly. That's the relatability factor, he encouraged, his eyes twinkling with inspiration. Imagine portraying that moment through the eyes of each person, the joy of those feeling accepted and the despair of those pushed aside. It could pull viewers into your experience and make them reflect on their own moments of courage and cowardice. Maya could already envision the scenes, the laughter mingled with the underlying pain. She could see Sofia, her eyes bright with hope but fading into a soft shimmer of disappointment. That imagery ignited something in her. A flow of ideas began to pour out, a montage of youth, laughter, exclusion, acceptance. They built on it. Maya's spirit surged as she began to see how vulnerability could serve as a bridge, connecting everyone's individual experiences. No longer a shadow, she was beginning to feel like a storyteller. Let us weave in the moments of connection. Every story isn't just darkness, it's how we reach for the light. When did you decide to change? To finally stand up? He asked, broadening his perspective. Maya paused, a decisive moment in her life coming to mind, the day Sofia had confronted her, tears glittering in her eyes. You could have said something. She felt the sting of the memory in her chest, the haunting weight of regret, but there was also empowerment in it. I decided then, she said, her voice steadying. To be the person I needed back then. To lift my friends. The moment was painful, but transformative. Yes. There it is. The filmmaker's excitement was palpable. That turning point is so crucial. It shows growth, it shows how you can empower others through vulnerability. Maya nodded slowly, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. This was what she needed, a purpose behind her feelings, a mission beyond her fears. She could feel her heart lift, a sense of affirmation washing over her, but just as quickly, a flicker of doubt crept back. Had she truly processed those feelings? Was she genuinely ready to powerfully expose her truth, or simply hiding behind the idea of strength? She shivered slightly, a chill washing over the heat of inspiration. I want this to be real, you know. She finally confessed, her voice trembling again. I want to share not just what I've learned but how hard it's been for me to get there. Then that's your story, he replied, smiling. It's raw and relatable, and it will resonate. But remember, exposing truths isn't just about sharing your triumphs. It's about balancing the pain and healing. With every encouraging word, the filmmaker was helping her piece together a narrative that felt whole for the first time. Yet that question lingered: could she bare her soul without losing herself in the process? The clock continued to tick, but Maya could hardly notice. They were igniting something within her, a flickering flame of hope and courage. As they wrapped up the conversation, the filmmaker said, "We'll keep refining this. Next time I want you to bring more of those defining moments. You can do this, Maya. Our story begins the moment we dare to share." She took a deep breath, a mix of excitement and fear bubbling inside. Okay, I will. But as the call ended, the weight of the challenge loomed larger. Would she be brave enough to meet those memories head-on, or would the shadows pull her back down? Maya closed her laptop, feeling both empowered and terrified. The road ahead was still foggy, yet she knew it was filled with potential. Would she step fully into her truth, or would she let her past silence her once more? Maya sat in silence, the glow of her laptop fading, leaving her wrapped in shadows. The weight of her unshared story pressed down on her. She paced the small living room, the hardwood floor creaking beneath her restless feet. Every memory felt like a stone in her heart, heavy and cold. Each step took her deeper into the echoes of her past. She thumbed through her phone, scrolling through images of her friends, laughter frozen in time. There was Sofia, wide-eyed and full of life, brightening every photo. But as Maya turned the screen toward the light, the happiness felt distant, as if it belonged to someone else. She flicked through them one by one, hungry for connection but stumbled by betrayal. How had she allowed fear to drive her silence? Her thoughts shifted to the next session with the filmmaker. It would come faster than she expected. She had promised to bring more defining moments, but how could she? The past wrapped around her like a tight cocoon, protective yet suffocating. The real work started now. How could she turn pain into power? With a determined breath, she grabbed a notebook and began jotting down memories. The school playground where she'd watched a classmate get mocked, the whispered secrets shared behind itching palms, the moments she glided past wrongs, hoping to merge into conformity. Each entry made her stomach knot as she recognized her own reflection in her choices. Then came a feeling she would transform this, just as she had promised herself. The pain was a part of it, yes, but so was the healing. It all needed a voice. She scribbled furiously, ideas spraying like a burst dam, connecting fragments of her past into a mosaic of truths. Suddenly, a new thought struck her. What about that volunteer program she'd almost joined? It was designed to empower teens to express themselves. A flicker of excitement surged through her. That had been her first serious attempt at standing up for others, and yet, she backed out of fear. I could bring that in, she muttered, excitement creeping into her tone. What if I wrote about how I almost didn't go? About how scary it was to face the unknown? She could feel herself getting lost in the narrative. This was turning into something greater than herself, a chance to inspire others. But doubt crept back, shadows whispering doubts. What if it doesn't matter? What if others think I'm incapable? Even as she wrote, uncertainty formed tendrils, latching onto her wrists, a physical reminder of her fears. But with that doubt came resolve. No, she said aloud, shaking it off. This has to matter. I have to make sure it resonates. She flipped back a few pages, reading over what she'd written. Heart racing, she felt her fear transform into courage. It wasn't just her story, it was a collective one, a story nestled within all those voices aching for validation in the shadows. Each word became a new offering, a step towards healing. An idea sparked in her mind. What if she could gather others? Organize a session? The thought sent a flurry of nerves through her. It felt like diving into the deep end. Could I really do that? The clock on her wall ticked softly, a steady reminder of time passing. It was now or never. Maya picked up her phone again, her heart pounding. Perhaps, gathering others to share their hidden stories could bring them all together, to uplift, to heal, to truly stand. Yes. I'll start a group. Just then, a notification on her phone grabbed her attention. It was a message from Sofia. Hey, I think you've been distant lately, can we talk? Maya felt her heart in her throat. Memories flooded back, painted with regret and desire for reconnection. Could this be an opening? A chance to finally confront the past? With a shaky breath, she typed back, I'd love to talk. Can we meet? As she hit send, her fingers trembled. Was she ready to explore this connection? In that moment, everything felt uncertain yet alive with possibility. But could she really face Sofia? Would they confront the difficult truths, or were they both still too afraid to step into the light together? Maya's heart raced as she waited for Sofia's response, the seconds ticking by like hours. She could feel it, the anticipation mixed with dread. Memories of their friendship cascaded through her mind, moments both sweet and sour. How had they drifted apart so easily? She wrapped her arms around herself, feeling vulnerable yet resolute. The notification finally dinged, breaking the silence. How about tomorrow? I could really use a friend, Sofia's message read, tomorrow. The word hung in the air, heavy yet hopeful. It felt like a challenge, an invitation into the unknown. With a deep breath, Maya replied, "Tomorrow works. Let us meet at the cafe we used to go to." As she hit send, her stomach fluttered. She envisioned the cafe, the familiar sounds of espresso machines, the comforting scent of fresh pastries, and the warmth of sunlight filtering through the windows. It felt like a safe space, but how would it feel now, with the weight of so much left unsaid between them? Uncertainty clawed at her, but a flicker of hope ignited alongside it. She made a promise to herself this time: she would speak. She had to. She envisioned Sofia sitting across from her, laughter in her eyes, and then quickly pushed that image away. Would there be laughter? Or would it be silence and awkwardness? Maya spent the evening preparing. She jotted down thoughts in her notebook, aiming to articulate the confusion and hurt they both experienced. The pages filled with a mix of ideas and emotions: betrayal, fear, regret, but underneath, an undeniable urge to reconnect. As she wrote, another idea struck. What if I shared the stories we kept hidden? She whispered to herself. The notion sent excitement coursing through her veins. Wouldn't it be liberating to unearth their shared history, to face it together? The night crept on, each tick of the clock amplifying her anxious energy. She picked out an outfit, a simple yet comfortable sweater and jeans, wanting to feel both herself and a bit brave. She practiced what she wanted to say, her voice barely above a whisper in her empty apartment. But doubt stubbornly hung on. What if Sofia didn't feel the same? What if their friendship was too broken to mend? With a heavy sigh, she wrestled with the thoughts lingering in the back of her mind. How could she risk it? Maya forced herself to imagine the alternative: the pain of remaining silent, the loneliness of continuing to drift apart. No, she couldn't let that happen. The next morning arrived too quickly. The cafe felt alive as she stepped inside, its lively hum contrasting starkly with the quiet inside her head. She spotted a table by the window and chose it for its familiarity. It had been their spot over the years. As she sat and waited, she replayed their past moments together. The laughter, the shared dreams, and the heartaches. For a second, she felt small and overwhelmed as memories of the fading friendship crashed over her like cold water. But she couldn't turn back now. When the door swung open, a flood of light poured in, and her breath caught. There was Sofia, looking just as beautiful as she remembered, albeit with a nervous expression that mirrored her own. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world faded around them. It was like they were standing at the edge of everything they had ever shared and everything they had left unsaid. Sofia approached slowly, her hands fidgeting with the strap of her bag. "Hey," she started, her voice softer than Maya expected. "Thanks for meeting me." Maya felt her heart thump louder, words catching in her throat. I think we have a lot to talk about." But before she could continue, Sofia took a deep breath, looking as though she had just made an important decision. "Yeah, we do. There's something I need to tell you." Maya's palms grew sweaty. What was she going to share? Was it about the past, or something more? As the tension built between them, everything teetered on the edge of revelation, and Maya knew they were crossing into uncharted territory. What would come next? Would they find the courage to face the truth, or would the fear of the past pull them under once again? Sofia licked her lips, her gaze unwavering on Maya as she gathered her thoughts. The moment stretched between them, thick with unspoken words and emotions. I've been thinking a lot about us," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "About everything that happened." Maya nodded, feeling the weight of her own uncertainty. "Me too. I've missed you, Sofia. A lot." Sofia's eyes flashed with something Maya couldn't quite place. Was it relief? Regret? She took a slow breath, her fingers tightening around the strap of her bag, which had become a makeshift anchor in their chaotic conversation. "I know we've been distant," she said, hesitation creeping into her tone. "But there's a reason for that. I made choices, and I don't know how you'll react. What do you mean? Maya felt her heart race. The words hung between them like a tightrope. Just tell me. Sofia closed her eyes for a brief second, as if bracing herself. I didn't stand up for you when everything happened. I was scared and confused. You were hurt, and I backed away instead of being there for you. Maya's chest tightened. You didn't say anything? Not even when I needed you the most? Hurt welled up, threatening to spill over. I know, and I hate that I did that. Her voice rose, drawing curious glances from nearby tables. I was scared to confront it, scared of losing everything. I thought if I just gave it time, it would blow over. But it didn't. Maya stared at her, absorbing Sofia's words. Pain mixed with understanding surged within her. So you just left me alone to deal with it? I thought it would protect you. I never realized how much it would hurt. Anger flared in Maya, and she clenched her fists. Do you think that's what I needed? To be protected? I needed you. I felt abandoned. I was drowning, Sofia. Tears glistened in Sofia's eyes as she leaned forward. I know. I never wanted that. I'm sorry. But after everything, I don't expect you to forgive me. The raw honesty cracked through some of Maya's anger, a flicker of understanding starting to bear fruit. She looked at her friend, really looked at her, the girl she had once shared everything with. Contemplation wrecked the anger that flooded through her. Can we really go back, Sofia? Is it too late for us? Sofia's gaze held a mixture of fear and hope. I want to try. I want to fix this. But it's going to take time, and I know that's hard to ask for. A pang of vulnerability shot through Maya. Did she really want to let Sofia back in? Were the wounds too deep, or could they start to heal? It won't be easy, Maya finally said, her voice softer now. But I guess I'm willing to try too. Sofia's eyes lit up, a spark of hope shining through the sadness. Really? You mean it? Maya nodded, though uncertainty still lurked in her heart. Let us take it one step at a time. As relief washed over Sofia, they both realized they were standing at the edge of something new, something fragile yet full of potential. The moment felt pivotal, heavy with the weight of their past but brightened by the light of possibility ahead. They would navigate this tightrope together, even if they stumbled. But then, a question formed in the back of Maya's mind, one that had haunted her since the fallout. Sofia, what exactly did you mean when you said there was something else you needed to tell me? Sofia's smile faltered, and the tension in the air thickened again. A shadow of doubt crossed her face. I guess I wasn't ready to get into that part yet, but it's important. Maya's heart thudded. What else could there be? What more hidden truths remained in the darkness between them? As she awaited Sofia's reply, she felt the old familiar thrill of fear and excitement. Maybe they were just beginning to unravel their journey. Sofia hesitated, eyes flickering as if wrestling with a tapestry of untold stories. The cafe buzzed around them, but within their table, a silence thickened, ripe with goading truths. It's just, after you started to pull away, I tried to reach out to others. I made friends with people you didn't know. When you were out walking your own path, I explored new ones, she confessed, her voice woven with uncertainty. Maya swallowed hard, her heart racing again. And the air between them felt charged, both a bridge and a barrier. I didn't want to, but I found myself getting closer to someone else. A guy. Someone who could be there for me when I couldn't reach for you, Sofia admitted, a shadow crossing her face. I didn't mean to shut you out, I promise. But it happened. A wave of mixed emotions flooded Maya, hurt, disbelief, and a tangle of anger. So you went and found someone else instead of reaching out to me? You thought it'd be easier? Sofia's voice softened, anxiety weaving through her words. I thought you were strong enough to handle it alone, that maybe I could bridge the gap in my loneliness while you took time to heal. Sofia's admission hit hard. Memories surged back, feeling invisible while she watched her world twist and tilt without her, while Sofia was making new ties with others. It felt like being left behind in a crowded room while the lights danced around them. I wanted you to talk to me about anything, Sof. If I'd known you were hurting too, Maya's voice cracked. But you didn't give me that chance. You chose another way. The words hung between them, dripping with the bitterness of undelivered friendship. I know, Sofia whispered, tears glistening in her blue eyes. I know what I've lost, and I know I hurt you. There's no excuse. The truth burned beneath Maya's skin, and she shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Yet vulnerability bubbled under the surface. She remembered why she was here today, to face the tumult, to step fully into the light while she demanded visibility for all. Maybe we made choices based on fear, instead of choosing each other. Maya took a breath, her voice growing steadier now. What matters is if we can start again. I still believe in friendships filled with authenticity. Can we find our voices again together? Sofia nodded, her emotions reflected in Maya's own. I want that, she said. But it won't happen overnight. I'll need your help. I've missed our honesty. I've missed us. As they locked eyes, an invisible thread began to weave between them, faint yet full of potential energy. Here they were, at a crossroads, two friends standing in the remnants of their bygone bond, aching, yet willing to rebuild. Let us take it step by step, Maya proposed softly, her heart lightening. We share our truths. We lean in for all the raw parts, the vulnerabilities. Together. The promise hung in the air, a mutual understanding sealed with glances, full of hope. Thick light poured through the window, casting a warm glow around them. It felt like a rebirth, a chance to anchor down in a new story. Sofia smiled through her tears, a fragile expression transformed into something beautiful. I'd love nothing more than to journey back into that. Then let us do it. Maya beamed, the last of her anger flickering to a soft light. Here was the connection they craved, a rebirth of authenticity and honesty. As they sat, recalling laughter from the past alongside the unease lurking nearby, Maya's heart felt free. The weight started to lift, each word becoming an act of hope. She felt it then, the journey wouldn't merely be about their past, it would be an ode to moving forward. Before they could dive deeper into their stories, Maya pulled out her phone, her fingers hovering over the screen. Let us get everyone together. We can create a group, a safe space for each of us to share. Sofia's eyes widened. Are you serious? Absolutely. We'll connect over our shared stories and uplift one another no matter what. I'll put out the feelers. If we want our voices heard about authenticity, we need to speak loudly about it in community. Maya's spark of excitement ignited again. This wasn't just about her anymore, it was their joint battle, rallying for hope and connection. Do you think others would join? Sofia asked, her voice brightening. Definitely. Imagine the stories we could share. The connections we can foster. Maya's pulse raced with visions of the coming together, a community filled with shared triumphs and vulnerabilities. Sofia smiled wide, catching Maya's enthusiasm. Then let us do it. As they began discussing ideas, they grew confident, filling each other's thoughts with dreams of standing together against the shadows of their past. And so, the most important chapter of their journey began, not solely about confrontation, but about creation. They were ready for this next move, eager to uncover truths and expose hopes while standing side by side. In that moment, clarity washed over Maya. She could be her authentic self, in all her flawed existence. Together with Sofia, they would bring any hidden voices to light. Sofia leaned back in her chair, the tentative hope in her gaze reassuring Maya, tethering them to a future filled with new possibilities. Let us start now, Maya said with a glint in her eyes. Together. And as they dove into planning, the reminder surfaced: every moment can lead to transcendence. Every share, a step toward understanding. Maya felt a swell of determination. She took a deep breath and, in that cafe, under the warming sunlight together with Sofia, they anchored down choices that would ripple forward, an undeniable testament to resilience, hope, and the beauty of authenticity. And with that, Maya realized, they had transformed their story, entwining it with purpose, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. As they stowed their past behind them, they dared to ignite a movement. A new beginning unfurling, intertwined like a tapestry, each thread a story yearning to be heard. This moment felt monumental, and Maya's heart swelled. They opened a door, and there was no looking back. Now more than ever, she knew, their voices mattered. Now it's your moment. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss out on exclusive stories that transform lives. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the word. Comment your thoughts and feelings about Maya and Sofia's journey below. Let your voice be heard. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You are part of this community, so let us grow together.